Hello, hello. Today is Sunday, June 17th, and I thought we could sit down, have a nice little chat, and work on cleaning some of our paintbrushes. For cleaner, I use the Masters brush cleaner. It's good for pretty much everything, and it's just a little cake in a pot. The reason we're cleaning our brushes today is, one, because I clean them about as often as I clean my makeup brushes, which is less frequently than I should probably admit to on the internet. And two, I am going through them to see which brushes I have and which I might need to purchase for the 2 art classes I've signed up for in August. And I know what you're thinking, Megan, this is supposed to be a low spending year, and you said you weren't gonna buy art supplies this year. Okay, look, I know what I said, but things have been admittedly rough lately. Life has been a little bit more dramatic than I could have bargained for, and I realized that I needed an out-of-the-house hobby. So I searched online, and I ended up finding a almost local art center that offers adult classes. So I signed up for 2. I signed up for Understanding Watercolor because even though I am largely self-taught, there's still a bunch of stuff that I don't know about using watercolor, and I would like to learn. And the second is a water-soluble oil painting class. I have been kind of jonesing to pick up oil painting again. The last time I did it was probably in high school, and that was more of a like, here's some supplies, just do something. But I didn't realize that water-soluble oil paints existed, and that sounds pretty cool. You don't have to use turpentine, you don't have to use any dangerous solvents, you don't have to paint while wearing a respirator, and that sounds like a pretty good time. I know the one thing the course suggested was that you have a separate set of that you have a separate set of oil painting brushes from your regular brushes. I'm not sure it matters as much if your oil paints are also water soluble. I have enough brushes, I don't need to risk it. Of course, on this list is a bright brush. I have no idea what that is. I know what a flat is, I know what a round is, I know was it a filbert brush? What is a bright brush? I guess I could ask Dr. Google. Oh, it's just a shorter flat brush. Why bright? Anyway, I don't know, do we think this one counts? Is that short enough? So yeah, I would rather go through the copious amount of art supplies that I own, see what I've already got, and then make my list of what I actually need for class. One of the things that I'm currently looking for is a tackle box or a toolbox to put all of my class art supplies in. This way, 1, I can carry it around easier, and 2, I can keep everything together. This way, all of my stuff doesn't get squished. I don't know what this brush is because I can't read Japanese. So yes, I guess technically I am breaking the rules, and I will be purchasing some art supplies. The whole point of the low spend year isn't to be perfect, it's just to be more conscientious of what you are spending money on. And let me tell you, the last couple of weeks, I have had the spendies so freaking bad that I know that spending money to self-soothe isn't actually going to get me anywhere. So I have thus far resisted the urge, unless you want to count signing up for 2 art classes, which technically were not inexpensive, but going along with my no by your budget, experiences are definitely a allowable purchase. And I would consider going to art class an experience. So I have my little plastic tray here off to the side where I put the clean brushes that aren't necessarily for class. I have my trusty, filthy paint rag, and then I've got 2 water glasses. One is to rinse off the soap. The other is to rinse off the rinsed brush. So I'll talk more about the whole first 6 months of the low spending challenge in next week's video. I am kind of bummed that the art classes aren't until August, but at least that gives me something to look forward to. And of course, once it's August, we're only 2 months away from October, which means it's basically Halloween. I haven't decided what I want to do for Halloween yet. Speaking of out-of-the-house hobbies, I decided that this summer would be the summer I took up roller skating. I'm not very good at it, and that's okay, but I've finally figured out how to move forward on the roller skates. I don't think I've been on roller skates since I was 12, and the last pair I had were my white and pink Christy Yamaguchi inline skates. I don't think any kid in the 90s didn't have a super cool ice skating phase. I never learned how to ice skate, but I I do remember that I really liked Christy Yamaguchi. I also missed the whole like Tanya Harding thing. Go figure. New skates are not inline skates, they are quad skates. I thought that having 4 wheels in 4 corners would make it much easier to balance on skates, and I am very, very wrong in that regard. I did finally figure out how to stand up, and I figured out how to move forward. Still can't move backward, but we're working on it. So I'm learning how to roller skate. Like I said, I can move forward. I have now learned how to stop, and I'm okay at that. And I've also learned how to do bubbles, which are really fun and really cool. Roller skating takes a lot of quad and glute work, a lot more than you think. Some of these are just like not in great condition. That's the hard thing with smaller paintbrushes. How are you supposed to keep the bristles nice and clean? Painting friends, are we supposed to keep the little plastic thing that goes on the brush? Part of me wants to say yes, because it would keep the bristles neat, but then part of me is also no, because you can catch the bristles in the plastic thing and then the bristles. That's pretty much been my focus for the last week, figuring out what art supplies I actually have and need for this class that I don't have to buy. Trying to find like a tackle box or a toolbox for the art supplies. I also don't want a plastic one. Don't ask me why I don't want a plastic one. Actually, it's probably like the whole like sustainability and recycling thing. Plastic just doesn't, I don't know. I'd rather not have a plastic one. But I've also been kind of dabbling in some other ventures. So far, I have finished 2 of the digital templates that I have been working on. One is a grocery list and the other one is a notepad. I'm pretty happy with the way they've turned out so far. I've got a couple of other ideas and a couple of other designs that I want to make, but I figured one thing at a time. There's really no rush for me to make a whole bunch of stuff when I don't know whether or not it's actually going to like do well, or if people are going to want cryptid themed grocery lists or notepads. I mean, I would. That's why I made it. I really want to do some kind of DIY desk makeover. I don't have a lot of options as far as desk placement goes. This room is pretty set in terms of where things can go and still have enough space. I do have a 3-day weekend this weekend, which is pretty freaking nice. It's nice just to have some downtime to sit and relax, do stuff that you enjoy, figure out how to feel like yourself again. I just finished the Lego insect collection. You can see the blue morpho behind me. Oddly enough, I didn't get the immense satisfaction of building Legos that I usually do, so that was kind of a bummer. But you know, not everything is the perfect dopamine providing experience. With my 3-day weekend, I do want to finish up on one of my personal projects. I went to a different art supply store the other day to pick up some, well, I was looking for 14 gauge stainless steel wire, which they of course didn't have. So I ended up picking some 16 gauge German style wire. And I am working on building myself a more complete set of ring splints. I've only got one set, but I cut out these little cardboard hands to put the splints on, and so far they've been pretty helpful. I have to remake this one in particular. Apparently your fingers aren't supposed to do that or that, so they're not perfect, but they do help them bend a whole lot less. I'm sure if you've watched any of the videos where you can see my hands while I'm actually drawing, I hold my pen like this, and that's deeply uncomfortable. I also didn't realize that my thumb also has a subluxation problem. I didn't realize it until I was repurposing this canvas and painting a layer of gesso over it. Turns out holding that brush really hurt. I had previously made a set of ring splints out of 14 gauge wire. They were way too soft, but my old set was incredibly helpful, so I am looking forward to having a new set. So what have you guys been up to? Any fun summer plans? Trips? Doing anything fun and exciting? I'm really just hoping to feel better. My brushes are clean. I have what I need. I still don't know what to do with any of these little plastic guys. Do you keep them? Do you throw them away? Tell me. And I think that's about it for me. Like, subscribe, and I will see you next week for that 6-month no spending recap. Also, who decided that it should be June? Moderately related, how is June almost over? I feel like Steve from Blue's Clues, just like talking to myself and pretending someone's answering me.